I have a question.
Go ahead.
Who is this lady of the lake you speak of, Master Kix?
She's a real asshole. Also, I'm the one speaking. Kix has not mentioned her at all.
I mentioned her several times as being the person who warned us.
I've mentioned her constantly, and you've only been responding to me.
I have definitely mentioned her out loud, and so have you.
So then, who is the lady of the lake?
She's a real bitch.
She seems to be some sort of natural spirit who inhabits the water to the north. A small spring, which we acquired some water from before. She gave us a warning about what was happening.
Natural spirit? So a fae?
I suppose so.
Interesting.
But yes, let's go stop by and speak with her.
Sure.
So you're gonna go to the apiary and then to the spring, or you're gonna go to the spring?
Let's stop by the apiary, talk to him, say that the wasps are gone, and won't bother him again.
Okay.
By the way, are you making lunch 3 or 4 hours early? Kix wants to know.
I'm gonna have as many lunches as I want.
That's why you're 500 pounds, Kix. Just want you to know that.
I am not hungry.
And no bee can move me.
Of course not. The bees are only dog-sized.
Mm-hmm.
I am not hungry, so if you wish to partake in food, please be my guest.
And the old man moves and is like, this is your back. That was quick.
Yeah, no, we were gone for less than an hour.
Yeah.
We have felled the beast. We have ended their reign upon this forest and forever cleansed it.
You hear that? Forever.
That's nice. That's very nice. I suppose a reward is in order. It's too early for lunch.
There was lunch.
Oh yes, if you're gonna stick around for lunch, I guess I can start cooking. It'll take a while, but I think you'll find this a little better. And he gives you a box, and it looks like, I guess, almost like one of those pill boxes, right? That all people have, like, on Monday, Tuesday, have little compartments. It's about yay big, about like the size of a Toblerone chocolate bar.
Check the camera.
Yeah. And it's about yay big, this big, and has 3 compartments. And he tells you that each compartment is filled with a special form of royal jelly. And what does that do? I mean,
it literally brought Kix back from the life twice. So
let me see if I find this, because this, in order to spell it, is a bit. It's basically, it would say it will cure your ailments, dispel disease, and cure poison, and such things.
Very powerful, potent potion of precious properties.
However, it's made with fertilizer, and you have to eat it.
Precisely.
Yeah. It's here. It's called Restorative Ointment, but the original name is Keltum's Ointment. As an action, 1 dose of ointment can be swallowed or applied to skin. The creature gains 2d8 plus 2 hit points, ceases to be poisoned, and is cured of any disease. And there's 3 doses in the box.
That's pretty good.
All right. How much do you say it healed by? 2d8 plus?
Plus 2.
And
it does all those things at the same time. So if you're poisoned and any disease, you will be cured of those things, as well as getting the heal.
Just ask out loud. Is this an official item?
Yes.
So it should be in the so it should be in the whatever the I symbol thing is, the codex, the thing. So you can just type it in there and you can drag it onto a sheet or something. And it should have all the information.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, since I saw Griff was trying to type it out or something, I figured I'd ask that question, so it'd just be easier just to drag.
I'm literally reading from it, and it should be on screen. I don't know why it's not showing on screen.
If you had a handout, that'd be perfect.
Well, no, you can just type it into the eye. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Griff. Just type it into the eye thing. The river is to the right, Griff. Just listen sometimes.
So,
listening sounds hard.
It's on the map.
It's.
Are you sure?
Let me read the description from the codex. Restorative ointment, also known as Kiltom's ointment, wondrous item, uncommon. This glass jar, but you have a box instead. Strange diameter contains 1d4 doses. You have 3 doses of thick mixture that smells faintly of aloe. In this case, it smells of honey. The jar and its contents weighed about half a pound. It was about a third of a pound. As an action, 1 dose of the ointment can be swallowed or applied to the skin. The creature that receives it regains 2d8 plus 2 hit points, ceases to be poisoned, and is cured of any diseases. Now, what's interesting about the fact that it says it can be swallowed or applied to the skin is that if you're unconscious, you don't have to eat it or drink it, which is what happened in the last fight when he basically was slapping you with it in the face. That's what he was using. And he only had 3 doses, so he was only able to do it 3 times. Any questions?
No, I wanted to ask the hermit questions. Do you make a lot of this, a lot of honey with these sort of properties?
Oh, it just takes quite a bit of time, Sonny. It has to be the most purest royal honey, and then you have to mix it with the aqua vitae, which is from basically it's the most purest form of the wine. But I'm running out of that, so I'll have to wait till just to when the wine is back in fashion, and I have to buy it from town and press it. It's a whole thing. I'm running out of it actually, so it's kind of hard to make. But I could make more in the future, but it'll take a while. So yeah,
I see. This is that's a quite interesting. Quite interesting that you have the formula for such a potent ointment already down. You said it was aqua vitae that you needed?
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, like, is there any sort of check I could make?
Nature check.
More so, I'm gonna ask, like, where can we find that? I guess that is if it's a nature thing, though. 15.
Okay, let me from I believe the Wikipedia. Aquavitae or aquavita is an arcane name for a concentrated aqueous solution of ethanol. These terms could also be applied to weak ethanol without rectification. Usually was widespread in the Middle Ages and Renaissance, although its origin likely much earlier. The Latin term that appears in a wide array of dialectical forms, etc. Aquavitae was typically prepared distilling wine, and in English text was also called ardent spirit, spirit of wine, or spirits of wine, and then it could be applied to brandy that could be repeatedly distilled. Essentially, it's a form from wine, a form of brandy, but it's the most purest form, and either it comes in brown color or a clear, almost like moonshine. It's very difficult to make, and it takes the best from the vine basically to make. So he would have to replace it come fall.
After, he basically needs an actual vineyard sort of thing to do this.
And he doesn't appear to have one around here, so he probably goes into town and picks the best. Some arrangement with somebody. You don't know who. Yeah.
In Braith's head right now, he's thinking this would be a good thing to have for the war effort.
Except that he's only one person, basically.
Oh no, I know, but I'm thinking like 3 or 4 different plots for that off the top of my head. So anyway, I thank the hermit for his hospitality with the honey.
Yes, with your business saved, I hope we can see you again in times to come. I'll certainly come back for more of this.
Well, we'll be right here. Yep.
Well, you said you need some time on lunch. How about we go talk to the lady first?
Okay, you can do that. And you move northward. This trip takes about a couple of hours because it's kind of hard to find, even though you're in the same X. But you finally find it. And again, you find this pool, which is the source of the Jewel River. It's deathly quiet. Maybe an owl here, a deer there, prancing about in the snow. Beautiful, beautiful area. What do you do?
I'm not familiar with this lady, so I'll let you both take the lead.
Okay, let me think how I'm going to do that. I will go ahead and sit down next to the pool. I'll just sort of kneel down and wait patiently and ask, my lady, I have returned again. The area around Narwhal has been excised of these insects, as well as the summoning circles that brought them. I was hoping maybe you would know more.
You see that behind you, feel like this cold sort of form around you. You feel like hands are on your shoulders as somebody leans over to whisper to your ears, like, you did very well. You did very well indeed. I'm afraid I cannot. I don't have much knowledge of this other than I know or sense the presence of the Prince of Thorns behind all of this. But we are, how can I say this? Kindred?
Of the same type.
Yes. I suppose that's one way to put it.
It's understandable.
He is very dangerous. He's of the dark side of my kin.
And it seems he has some aspirations then.
And he plays some very cruel games.
Well, if only can muster up our insects, I suppose the world has not much to worry about. But I worry where else he may have done this, if he is establishing more of these circles.
He likes to have many different types of toys and pets. Manipulate people and things. He likes to keep his distance, also ready to strike.
So who else could he be manipulating?
Don't know. The circles are very direct for him. Other things, perhaps? Other people with ambition. The foolish. The idiotic. The power mad.
Slow turn towards Gar, slow turn back. Gar gives me a glare.
No, Gar's like looking off in the distance. Gar don't give a shit about this woman.
That's all I can tell.
I see. Well, I should continue to keep my eyes out for him. If there's anything else at all.
As you say that, basically this form disappears from you. You feel the pressure leave your shoulders, and
yeah, and she's gone.
And Braith, you actually saw that literally the air around Kix sort of coalesce into this young woman, barely dressed, right? And in fact, whatever clothing she was wearing, if you call it that, was also made out of sort of the air itself.
Yeah.
And then when she finished talking, she sort of stepped back and just disappeared into snow and ice and air.
I go to Kix. I say to him, I take it that is a very common occurrence of what she does.
If by common you mean I've seen it all twice, well, I suppose so. That's how she operates, and I suppose as long as we continue to treat her with respect,
does anybody?
Well.
Does anybody within Narwhal actually know anything about this Rose Prince that has been mentioned?
I don't think so. I'm not even sure if Narwhal really has a library, if I'm honest. It's half of why I didn't really go on to the demographics I was talking about earlier. It just wouldn't have gone anywhere. I don't know, maybe the Lord Mayor has something. Something we could research.
You know that your priestess, the priestess that was with you, went out to do some research, and she's been doing that for a while, so, maybe one day. But as of yet, she hasn't come back to you.
Perhaps that is something to look into. Nevertheless, though, it seems
Elvis was investigating that.
Oh, yes, that's right. Well, perhaps she knows something, or has made some headway. We should at least check on her, if she's still in town. And I suppose while we're out here, we could also continue exploring for a while, too. Maybe we'll just happen to stumble upon another evil plot for us to finish.
I am content with either action at this point.
Wait, are we evil now?
No, Master
Would
Brave.
we if we're stopping evil plots?
Oh no, you said to finish them. So we're gonna go to evil plots and we're gonna finish them.
No, Master Gar, it is not to be taken literally.
Well, I mean, why would you say something that's not literal?
If they're finished, they're at an end. And if they're at an end, they're dead. You see, Gar, there's a complication to much language called wordplay, you see, where things can end up meaning other things because of the game that we play when we use language.
All you said was to finish evil plots.
Right, and if I told you to stick your hands up, you would know what I mean, right?
To put my hands in the air. You understand that the point of putting your hands in the air is so you're not able to grab a weapon, right? You don't just say that figuratively. You mean that literally.
Right, but you're doing so to rob people, wouldn't you?
Well, you also want to make sure the person you're robbing doesn't pull a weapon and, slay you for trying to rob them.
But there's something about holding up your hands that necessarily is within its own text implicating that there's a robbery happening.
Well, you're the one that brought that up. I just said that you said when I say raise your hands, what you mean is to raise your hands. You're the one that brought up robbing somebody.
Right, I'm saying that your literalist approach is ignoring the game that we're playing.
We're not playing a game. You tell me to raise my hands. Your intent is for me to raise my hands. Now, if you say you want to finish evil plots, that means you intend to finish an evil plot.
But we are playing a game. It's called the silly human language that we're using.
I believe that language is called common.
Yeah, it can be called whatever it wants.
It is pretty basic.
Where do you weigh on this?
Me?
Surely you've been practicing your linguistics and you've studied this for many a year.
Please tell us your human-centric view of the human language.
It is a strong and fine language. It gets the job done.
How many other languages do you know?
Oh, only one other, and that is Orcish.
So you're comparing your knowledge of languages against Orcish.
I have heard other languages.
Job done.
Keep in mind, I have heard many a language within my lifetime. It is...
How long was your lifetime?
I'm 52 years old.
Out of an average of what?
I think 80.
So you're dead, is what you're telling me.
Compared to you, perhaps? I don't know. How old are you, Master Gar?
I don't know. Does it matter?
Well, would you like me to accuse you of being near dead?
Go for it. I mean, certainly I've been near death many times. I caused a number of it.
Anyway, to answer your question, I don't really have much to weigh in on this, other than that perhaps we should not take things literally. Irregardless, I think what we really should do right now is continue on with either meeting this researcher you mentioned, or gallivanting in the forest and seeing what we could thwart.
Well, gallivanting it is, then.
Because no one's time is precious, right?
Precisely. All right. I'm well recommending we head down to the river and kind of just investigate this general area, if that sounds good. Okay. Then we could just pop back up if we really want to.
Yeah,
we haven't actually investigated these squares either.
Mm-hmm. See, my thought was definitely go through the river and the forest over here. See if there's anything there, because usually water sources do lead to other things we can find.
True enough.
Camps, outposts, settlements, hidden valleys and treasures and things like that. Anything that we may have to eliminate or contend with.
So, ultimately, our scouting expedition.
At least for a few days.
Well, I'm ready whenever you all are.
Okay, let's go.
I couldn't reach in time for that. I'm sorry.
You're gonna follow the river then?
That sounds like the plan.
Okay. So you explore these hexes on the river. So the first hex you have to explore that is unexplored would be this one. So it'll be 5, 10 hours. So you have to rest until you get this one, and this will be a day, and then you decide where to go next. So you follow the river, it will take you all the way over here.
Sure.
That sounds good.
So 5, 10, do a resting. Do the resting.
That's the D4 again?
That will be hunting, cooking, and depending what you cook.
Oh, all that.
Congratulations! I've cooked charcoal for you tonight.
Out of the fine food that I brought back, you turned it into charcoal.
Yeah, it's still just as nutritious as when it began.
Not really. In fact, no.
Yeah, that's not good. I think I'll eat my rations.
Yeah, so mark off rations if you're gonna go switch to rations. You could try to eat it, but I don't recommend it.
Or I could just keep a little bit of myself.
I just marked off one of my rations just in case, and I guess I will keep watch again.
Go ahead.
I keep forgetting that's perception.
Mm-hmm.
Not as good this time, just a 10. I'm getting all the crits on the dice I don't use, apparently.
Yeah.
That's what they say, don't they?
You think you see something in the distance, but it passes nearby, but you're not really sure.
What do you think you saw?
Something, barely a quadruped of relatively large size.
Probably a large wolf or a thylacine or something like that.
It's a plesiosaurus. It's a magical plesiosaurus. Charlie.
Charlie.
I'm trying to think if there's anything I can do just in case while on watch. I'm checking spells, but it doesn't look like there's anything really.
Probably drop some acid in your eyes.
Until later on, you don't get anything that lasts the whole hour. I think
I got a couple of spells that last a few hour, like an hour or thing, but they're not really helpful right now.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, okay, so no spells I can cast. I will just chalk it up to being the wilderness at the moment, unless we get attacked.
And Gygax gets kidnapped again.
Yeah, the night passes on eventually. So you can move on next day to the next square. This one's also been explored. This is where you found the logging camp. The logging camp seems to be abandoned at this moment. Perhaps when winter finally breaks, the loggers will come back to it. But
it helps if they all don't get killed.
Very true.
Yeah. So we move you over here. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong thing to move. Ugh, don't move the pin. There you go. So there you are. That's the party moving over there, and it opens to the hilly, rolling hills in this area. So that's 5 hours. Crossing this will be 5 hours, and this will be a day. So you're going to rest before the day, or you're going to try to push on?
Good question. I say let's go ahead and push on so we can spend the next day just being there already.
Okay, so everybody roll a Constitution check, Constitution save, please.
Oh boy. 7.
6.
Gar?
Oh, he stood up for a second.
Okay, yeah. So those who have failed now have a level of exhaustion.
Okay.
Yep, which will go away with rest, but we need to rest first.
Real quick, just because I was looking through the player book for a little bit. I didn't see it yet. Mm-hmm. Hit points only do not heal at rest, right? Or do they?
They do.
Oh, they do.
But not your temporary hit points. Those are gone.
Well, I have none of those, so I just assume I'm basically up to 20 my max again. Okay.
Yes. Conditions. Let's read for the audience. Exhaustion. Some specialized abilities, environmental hazards such as starvation, the long-term effects of freezing or scorching temperatures can lead to special condition called exhaustion. Exhaustion is measured in 6 levels. An effect that can give a creature 1 or more levels of exhaustion as specified in the effect's description. You have level 1 of 6, which is disadvantage on ability checks. Were you to get another one, your speed will halve. And at 3, your disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. At 4, your hit point maximum is halved. At 5, your speed is reduced to 0. And 6, you are dead.
Yeah, let's not get to 6.
A creature suffers effects of currently exhaustion as well as lower levels. For example, a creature suffering level 2 exhaustion has a speed halve and has disadvantage on ability checks. The effect that removes exhaustion reduces its level as specified in the effects description, as well as exhaustion effects ending if a creature's exhaustion level is reduced below 1. And you can do so by resting. Provided that the creature also ingests some food and drink. Finishing a long rest reduces the creature exhaustion by 1, provided that the creature also ingests some food and drink. That is exhaustion. So
should I make a roll or something?
Yeah, saving throw for con.
I'm fine.
You're fine.
Nice.
Your human and draconic companions seem very tired and well, you press on through the night into the next morning. So you're here. Are you gonna rest first, or are you gonna try to do your rolls?
Well, like I said, we were just pressing forward to get here early. So once we press forward, we go ahead and rest, and we'll explore tomorrow.
Okay. So you're now in the next hex.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Do you want me to take watch again, or do you want me to regale you with a story?
Hey, a story sounds good.
I have to think of one now. Hold on. Oh, well, did you ever hear of the Battle of the Shale Pass?
I think I did once upon a time. Undoubtedly, it's one you were in.
Yes, it was at least I keep forgetting what year it is, but at least 3 years before I was captured in that circle.
Does that include the year that you were in the circle?
No, that does not. So I guess it would be 4 years ago. It's a terrible battle. Unfortunately, I was commissioned to lead a small platoon behind a orc encampment, and we were supposed to just do what they called a sabotage mission. But, with all the sappers and rogues and things that we had at our disposal, the saboteurs that we set up were poor at their job and got caught almost immediately. So I had to lead them and the small contingent of guards keeping watch for them through a skirmish within their encampment. The whole idea was to try, bring the encampment down onto the rocky faces of the pass itself. I basically spend like 10 minutes describing like the elevation and the height of what the Shale Pass would look like. It looks like a
Topography, my favorite part of storytelling.
Exactly. Well, that's the most important part to me so you can understand the picture.
Mm-hmm.
To make a very long story short, we were eventually able to prevail and rout the orcs from that area, which helped us when we invaded the pass a few days later, but the cost was of the entire encampment as well as all of our sappers.
So a Pyrrhic victory at best.
It was a Pyrrhic victory, unfortunately, for that day. The good news, though, was we were able to make ground against the orcs. The bad news was within 3 months, they took back the pass.
So not even a Pyrrhic victory.
Well, they took back the pass, but they could not build another encampment there, we have already raised the area, so it would be impossible for them to hold it. That has been a point of contention that has been back and forth.
How does one raise a pass?
Well, the
or do you mean that you literally raised it and not raised it?
Raised it. Yes, the explosions by the sappers, they did eventually go off.
No, I mean like you filled it in, you raised it.
No, not like raise it higher. We destroyed the entire area where the pass
I just meant that that's one way that they would not be able to make a settlement there anymore if you raised it by filling it in and raising it up versus raising it. How do you raise a pass?
Lots of explosions. Well, it was one of the most devastating fights I was ever in, and it taught me a very harsh lesson that the best plans do go awry. The good news, however, it also taught me that when they do, it is best to improvise when you can, so that you can survive the ordeal and continue the fight for another day.
At what point did improvisation come into this plan?
Well, when the sappers were caught, we had to create distractions so they wouldn't be executed on the spot. This also included myself, who, believe it or not, if you will, I dressed up as if I was a wandering hermit from the woods.
Just to be clear, at what point of the plan did your sappers get caught? How early into the operation?
Roughly an hour in, unfortunately.
So from the very beginning, you began to improvise. And to be clear, this is a failed operation.
Yes.
So your lesson, your takeaway here, sorry, I keep using the GM's name. So your takeaway here is that improvisation is the key to success in a bad situation. However, an hour into this terrible failed operation of yours is when you decided to improvise. Could it not be said that improvisation is the reason you failed and is the opposite of the takeaway?
Improvisation still gave us an advantage that pushed us forward.
To a Pyrrhic victory in a war in which that Pyrrhic victory mattered to none because they retook the territory.
In hindsight, you can say that, yes. In the moment, it was a success.
That's how time works.
Time does teach us a lot of lessons like that. But it still taught me a lesson that sometimes the best plans we have go awry quite easily.
Right. Perhaps that is the best takeaway, but in 4 years of hindsight, you should be able to look back and see that your improvisation may have actually cost you the battle. In which case, I would say that you took away the wrong lesson.
That's a possibility, but I would also argue that without that improvisation, it could have been a lot worse.
Or it might have gone to plan. You don't know. You decide to play dress-up in the middle of a battlefield.
And yet it worked. It distracted the orcs enough where my men were able to flank and actually engage them.
Did it? Most of your men are dead. They can't speak to if the plan would have worked or not.
You can speak to Luke about it. He was there.
I don't actually care that much.
And there's the reveal. I guess you want to roll on the story?
I guess so. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just thought I would do like a character moment.
Oh, yeah, we were doing character moments just for fun here, but I think it's just a skill check or a charisma check.
I am not the most charismatic person, if you haven't guessed yet.
Oh, yeah, no.
I rolled a for fuck's sake. That's like the third 20.
Like, take the assist on it. Like, I'm helping you tell the story because I'm actually tactically minded, and you're...
Oh, sure, you're the one helping tell the story. I'm the one who's talking to him the whole time.
No, yeah, that makes sense. There you go.
Me sitting silent back here watching you two. Me sitting silent back here watching you two. That's the real assist.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, in terms of tactics, we probably could have done it better, obviously. That's another lesson to learn from this.
I'm not saying what could be taken away, or even what's right. I'm saying that your takeaway is wrong.
And yet I am still here, as are some of the men from that night.
Sure. Even a coward gets to survive.
Excuse me?
I think you're being unfair.
I'm not being unfair. Someone who runs away from the battle also survived that day. Are you saying that being a coward and a deserter is a good takeaway?
He told you about how he took a risk beyond what was even necessary to go in there and fight, and then at the end he did win. He
in
didn't
the
run
end,
from the battle.
essentially had everybody. I'm not saying that he ran away. I'm saying that him and a deserter both would have survived. Now, the deserter's takeaway is that being a coward and running away from a battle is a good takeaway because they lived. Now, he is saying that improvising and having all of your men killed and also surviving the day is a good takeaway.
And he bought the innocence of this country 3 months. During a war in which they could have rode straight up and taken the territory.
At the cost of all those men. Who's to say that following the plan as given might not have won the day, kept all those men alive, had the same 3 months, and would have succeeded in further victories.
And you understand now why I was nicknamed the Butcher.
Yes, for playing dress up in the middle of a battlefield.
I think it would be correct to say, Gar, that war is terrible and the costs of lives are high. Especially when the conflict does not need to happen.
The cost of lives is actually surprisingly low.
But such is what needs to be done when aggression is brought upon us.
Arguable.
Maybe. I'm not exactly a politician here.
Also, one has the ability to move. One's attachment to land and property tends to lead to one's death, not their attachment to their own lives.
Perhaps so, but I can't rule other people or tell them how to feel.
You also say that as if everybody has the ability to move.
Well, so long as they have legs and mobility, I assume.
That's right. If we go back to demographics, you'll see on page 7, the majority of people don't have...
Oh! Break out the paper, yeah. See, the average leg span of a human from this region is such so that they can travel this distance in this amount of time, and in which case they would be able to escape the zone of battle in this many hours. And the average human is this strong and can carry this much weight, which means this much food. And if they all shared their ability of natural survival, they could find this much food in any given region.
Well, sure, mathematically, but you see, under feudal government, most people are in fiefdom to their lord and happen to work the land on their behalf and are contractually obliged to stay. And what you get is multi-generational homes in which people all stay in the same territory in order to raise the land and their families.
Right, but they're not going to be subjugated when that army... They're not going to be subjugated when that army is then stuck fighting the battle to keep the land that they don't further care about, then giving them the time and ability to retreat from said zone, and which they don't care about.
The argument isn't that mechanically they can't move their legs.
Well, that's what you're saying, that they have no ability to move. Well, they do.
I'm saying that culturally they are not obligated to move, and statistically they don't.
Well, when an incoming enemy force is forcing them upon death to move, that they are obligated. Now, if they're too stupid to accept that obligation, that's on them. That's them caring about property and material more than lives.
Oh, I just set something up over here. But yeah, I think this conversation could go on for quite a while.
Oh, I'm sure it can.
Next 3 hours.
I'm not exactly sure where this character would litigate it.
Well, hopefully you wouldn't litigate it at all, because you're not a lawyer.
But I'm a dragon lawyer. Aha, you didn't see that coming.
Yeah, because it didn't happen. I don't think you have the intelligence to become a lawyer.
I saw some lawyers.
You'll find out.
Yeah, there's some lawyers out there that are not intelligent, man.
Right, but you got to pass the bar, so you do have to have the intelligence to get past the bar, or at least the fortitude to keep trying.
Very well. There are lawyers out there that may be intelligent, but they're not wise. Let's put it that way.
All right. So I guess
roll the performance for me.
We did. That's the charisma right there.
That was a 4.
Oh. Yeah, I know.
If it gets assistance off a guard, it's 21.
You know, I just want to double check here real quick.
Go ahead.
I barely won that argument. Just barely won it.
You spend the night arguing about semantics and manage to get some rest, but not enough to get an advantage.
You got +1 charisma, I got +0 charisma. It shows, but I barely won that argument.
So next morning,
those that claim victory in arguments usually are the ones that don't realize they've lost.
Well, they've also won the argument, though. Those that cede the ground to an argument lose arguments.
Well, who said we seeded anything? We probably just ended it after we went to bed last night.
We all know the last one who talks. The last word wins.
Oh, no wonder you win all the time.
Well, glad you understand that.
In your mind.
Well, you just admitted it, so.
By the way,
we were exploring over there that day.
Yeah. So roll your survival and your investigation, please.
Yay, I'll take some assistance on investigating.
I can help with one of those.
Do tell.
It's either or both.
One or the other.
I think Gar usually gets assistance from his owl, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I actually am much better at survival, but do you want me to do the investigation with you?
Yeah, which means you don't have to do anything. I just get advantage because you're there helping.
Okay.
That's 17 survival, 21 investigation.
This hex is relatively clear. You basically travel along the river, and it seems to be rather clear. You see a few grazing animals that, and when they do have access to the shore, the bank of the river, shore, or something else, to graze there. But besides that, not much. So next day, once again, entire day, so you have to do the whole rigmarole again. Survival. Yeah.
You want me to roll survival for this one?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Gar has survival on lockdown right now.
Well, I have a +5 plus built-in assistance with my owl, so.
Oh, that's why. All right.
I also have a cooking button now.
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess I will keep watch then, because after my story last night, I don't think anybody wants to hear me talk at the moment.
Yeah. Roll watch, please.
That'd be good. You assist me in cooking. I assist you at watch.
Sounds. Oh, please! I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody gets advantage on Constitution checks for poison and disease for the next 24 hours or the next day.
Sweet.
Okay. Sounds pretty good.
All the unprotected sex I can want.
No.
I sure hope we don't randomly wander into a bunch of disease puddles all of a sudden.
All right, guys, I'm gonna need you to put all your keys in this bowl that that the butcher here so valiantly provided me.
You enjoy that bowls, young Master Gar.
Yeah, I know what you wanted.
Right.
I'm
in
sorry.
which case,
you move here.
We go down the river.
Investigation and survival. On these are
investigate.
19 out of 22.
Yeah. I got a.
Well, I think only one person can roll on these.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. All right, so
that's why we're trying to do the person who has the highest. Do you have a higher investigation than Kix does?
My investigation's a 0, so I should not be rolling anything. Okay.
Okay, so
the ranger that was good at this.
You find some ruins at the edge of the
tomorrow
of the of the river.
Interesting.
They seem to be covered with white mud.
I think that is snow, Master Gar.
Still snow.
Really? We traveled. So in the north area, there's snow, and in the south area, there's no snow, and in the southern area, there's even more snow. Man, this world has a very wide or small equator.
Look, don't count the warming effect of bees, all right?
Well, I told you not to mess with them. I'll kill that guy.
Have you ever seen the realm of Skyrim?
No, because that's a world that doesn't exist.
I know, but I'm just saying the weather in that.
Because you have seen this, and you get to see it's daylight, and it's actually pretty bright with this. You see in the distance. These are basically these are walls, but they're basically like quarter walls or less, like basically just the outline of a wall. This town, part of the town, was razed many years ago. And this is all that is left. And you can see between the trees, you can see these figures over here. And there seem to be, you hear chanting in the distance. So what are you going to do?
Sorry, these undead looking guys are chanting?
No, You hear the chanting coming from over here.
Sorry, my scroll thing isn't. Oh, there we go.
So
hey, the guys that kidnapped you.
Yeah, I was about to say, remember the Goblin scouting party? Here's some more goblins. They have someone who looks slightly more important than them because he's actually wearing expensive gear. And if I'm not mistaken, these things look terrifying.
Also, they got roadkill for dinner.
Any type of check we can do on what those things are? Would that be like a religion or something? I don't know.
Sorry, I was reloading the map because apparently my encounters disappeared for some reason. Yes. Let me. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry.
He goes up the tree and climbs it for some reason.
Just wanted to make sure that everything is on the up and up. I have all my sheets. Up. And go. Okay. These appear to be they look like skeletons just standing there, like you hear the creaking. And you hear the chanting. Anybody speak Goblin?
Is Orcish the same as that or no?
No.
Just checking.
And there's just a lot of related languages that just don't actually apply. Like Undercommon. I'm sure they speak Goblin and Undercommon, but doesn't apply.
Well, that's what I was asking. I don't know, are they doing Orcish is kind of like the umbrella language for a lot of those, or is there an actually separate Goblin language?
I'm sure if you're at a Orcish camp, they would be speaking Orcish as the version of Common between Goblins and Orcs, but not happening.
Right.
Roger that.
They seem to be, these 4 goblins seem to be chanting around something, and they have these skeletons as guards over here. Are you trying to hide?
No.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try hiding and getting closer to these ruins, which is going to be a terrible idea, by the way, but I mean...
Roll, you do have advantage because of the snow.
And I do have disadvantage, I think, because I'm wearing scale mail. Or no, this is chainmail. Does it actually?
I do like that's the unexpected side effect that you have advantage because of the snow. I would figure that of walking through snow would be a disadvantage, but
the bright,
snow blindness. Are you saying everyone's snow blind?
Okay.
What time of day is it?
Hey, 15.
15. Okay. So you're getting closer.
Closer.
The skeletons just seem to be standing there. Anybody else is going to do anything?
Takes revenge against the people that kidnapped him.
I'm definitely not going to be able to sneak through there.
I'm not hiding by virtue of not wanting to get closer.
Okay.
I'm just right here, not hiding.
Kix is trying to wave you in closer.
The 2 skeletons here.
I wave back.
They have tattered armor and a broken sword, etc. This one right here seems to be wearing some kind of robes, tattered robes, and almost like a stick, not quite a club.
Mm-hmm. One in the back seems to be wearing a muumuu.
And these guys seem to be chanting, and you see here there seems to be kind of sort of nesting material underneath this tree, in around this tree. And I see me chanting around something, but you can almost see like a bubble.
Is the chanting the chanting from the spell? Is that what's raising these skeletons? Would I be able to recognize that at all?
For the skeletons will be religious check. For the chanting will be Arcana.
Actually, hold on. I'm just gonna cast a spell.
Well, I got a religion check then for the 15.
I just cast comprehend language. I can speak Goblin, or I can understand Goblin.
Yeah, the chanting is in Goblin, and it's clearly of magical origin.
But I mean, I understand what they're saying, or I understand the literal meaning of what they're saying.
Yeah, it's you understand that they're basically trying to do some kind of transformation spell of some sort. But no, the skeletons would be raised differently.
All right, with an Arcana check of 21, knowing what they're saying, what are they doing exactly?
They're trying to transform one creature into another, or modify a creature of some sort. But you have to get closer to actually see what they're trying to modify in order to understand. I mean, once
so
with
they're
that
not
roll,
saying it in words.
I mean, there's magical language, so you know that the spell they're casting over a creature, it's specific to a creature, and it will alter the creature in some way. But you have to see the creature specifically, which you're too far away to see, in order to see what kind of change.
I put my eyes on my owl. My owl is 120 feet up in the air, so it's unlikely that they're going to see it or be bothered by an owl in the air. What does my owl see?
Your owl sees what looks like a very large egg.
And these are orcs or these are kobolds?
These are goblins.
Goblins. I don't know why I said those two things. Those stupid.
So yeah, you see kind of like an egg surrounded by sort of this very green, gooish skin, wet skin covering it, and tendrils are coming out. And it seems to be pulsating.
So what would my best guess be, having now seen and heard?
That they're whatever this egg is, they're trying to change it, the creature inside, into something different, perhaps more deadly, more dangerous.
And I can see this nest thing here?
Yes, you can see it.
And I have an idea what it would be a nest for?
That would be a nature check.
Real quick, how do you do the
no idea.
The arrow?
The upside down Q on the upper left hand side, underneath the microscope. I'm sorry, not microscope, magnifying glass.
Okay.
Look, man, I'm a champion of keep talking and nobody explodes. I know how to identify weird symbols.
So Kix, you're seeing that.
Right.
You hear the chanting, but you don't know what it is.
I'm waving over to Braith, but I have to stand up and do something because that's what a hero does.
I know what I can do. Okay. I'm making sure I have the range for it. Okay. I'm actually going to cast one of my spells.
Okay.
And I'm going to... Let me get the thing.
Well, if you're going to cast a spell, you're going to have to roll initiative because you're not hiding. So,
right. I'll roll with them just so we can have an order to actions.
So you see what my plan was.
Okay.
To commit silence on them. It's a 120-foot range. Concentration for up to 10 minutes is the duration.
Okay.
But no sound can be created within or pass through a 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point I choose within that range. So if I put about 115 feet right here, that covers pretty much the entire chanting. So they would basically be quiet.
Yep. So I'm going to start running. Well, let's see if they can act before or after you cast the silence. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Kick goes in 5, but it hasn't turned into an order. So
we're doing.
Deleted me off of it.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, there you go.
Let me do initiative for me as well.
Bam. There we
go. And let me do initiative for them. Let's start with.
Right. I guess the ideal here would be once we have the order, we get the surprise round, and then we move into normal turns. I think that's how it goes. Yeah.
Well, you get a surprise round because you were hiding. Everyone else wasn't. So
for my first action, I jump on top of the pirate ship and shout, "Hey, you guys!"
Hi, Sloth.
I prefer Chuck.
Sloth love Chunk?
I just like how you said that as a question.
It's been a long time since I've watched that movie.
It's also been a long time since that rock and roll.
But does it still soothe the soul?
Finally, let's just pick one of these guys and roll initiative. Oof. Yeah. Okay, let's organize this. The skeletons go first, although they are slow. Then guard, then the skeleton, another skeleton, then Braith, then Kix, then the Goblin, and finally their Goblin boss. So the skeletons are going to move forward in the general direction of that. Let's see how far they can move.
Surprise round?
Yeah, you get to act, but they're gonna act in the order they're going, and you're gonna be able to. Let's they don't see you, so they're gonna ignore you.
Okay.
So they can move 60 feet. Yeah. So 60 feet in the general direction of the spell casting.
Shit.
Just double moving on out there.
Yeah, because they have nothing else to do. So here, move over here. This guy's gonna move here, and these skeletons over here are gonna move. Because these walls are difficult terrain for them. They're low walls, so they're gonna try to avoid them. So those are the skeletons. Gar. You see skeletons sort of their weapons are going moving.
That's a weird measure on this map.
Yeah.
Well, because it's 29.4 feet that I'm moving.
Yeah. Sorry, Gar. You're before this guy moves. Gar, it's your turn. Sorry.
Yeah, I just made my move. That's why I said it's a weird measure. I just moved to 29.4 feet.
Weird. I have to check. I guess it's when I resize the
owl's gonna fly right here. Flyby attack, grant the advantage against this one, and then fly off in this direction.
Right. Your spell goes off here, so the silence for everyone else. So the Hobgoblin started doing orders and whatever, but apparently that was not good enough for it. Check.
Yeah. They do get a. I don't think they get a save actually.
So nobody can cast spells.
No, it's not. Yeah, there's spells with verbal components. For the duration, no sound can be created within or passed through a 20-foot radius sphere, centered on the point I choose. Within that range, any creature or object entirely inside the sphere is immune to thunder damage, and creatures are deafened while entirely inside. Casting a spell that includes verbal components is impossible. So their chanting basically goes silent. And I don't know what else they can do other than that.
Well, I mean, before that happens, I would also like to cast a spell. I don't know why we just moved on to Wraith's turn.
Oh, I thought. Go ahead, Car.
I said I moved, and then my owl did a thing, but I didn't actually take any actions.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, I want to magic missile. Oops, I'm still in the point. I can point to him using that. This guy here.
Which guy?
I'm pointing at him with the pointer. Can you not see it?
Okay, I see it. Yeah, okay.
I said I was in the wrong thing, but I can still do that.
Go ahead.
It's 3 of them, so 1, 2, 3. Not great. 7 damage though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You basically he falls back to the ground because you hit him that hard, but it's still there. Like he takes the snow out of like So Braith, you cast a spell. Kicks. The skeletons ignore you because they didn't know you're there.
Okay.
You can hit this guy. He's
on the other side of a wall there.
Basically, think of the wall as just being like the outer edge of it, like the marker, right? It's not you don't get any cover from it at all. It only counts as difficult terrain for the purpose of what it can do.
In which case, I think I'll go ahead and I'll opt to go ahead and breathe fire on these two and just get that out of the way.
Okay.
So let's do it. That's going to be a 5 damage DC 13.
Okay, so the first
skeleton is used up.
Makes it? Doesn't make it. So the first guy takes 2 points of damage. And the second guy takes 5 points of damage. You see that because they don't tend to have a lot of meat in their skin, most of their clothing and armor peels away, and so they're like whatever a thing out of cloth or wood that they were carrying just completely blows off, and they sort of rattle more of the shock of the fire breath than anything else.
And I'll go ahead and pop my action surge too and strike the nearest one and see if I can finish it off quickly. Let's do it. A 20 ought to hit for 7 slashing.
You're using slashing, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, it does normal damage.
Sure that is actually there.
Yeah, you probably break part of its arm with your sword, but it's still there.
Okay.
Next, the goblins. The goblins start shouting at each other and looking around and seeing what's going on, but of course, there's no sound. Mm-hmm. And you see the hobgoblins sort of pointing in that general direction. So the goblins are just going to run in that general direction. They're going to abandon what they're doing and they're going to run to intercept. So I'll see how much a Gobo moves. Gobo can move 60 feet. All the 60 feet. So they're going to try to avoid the, actually, if they use the stairs, they go this way then. So that's and then 15.
Oh, 20. I misread that spell.
What?
Oh, I didn't realize it was only a 20 feet radius from where he cast it. I was thinking it was 120 feet from him for some reason.